median sales. So in some metro areas across the country, we are seeing some dips in pricing. They've really increased in value over the last couple of years, but we're seeing now some of that softening.
Okay, we're here for our 2023 January monthly marketing update. First one of the year. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you got over the holiday hangovers. And I'm really excited for this specific meeting because not only are we talking about our outlook for the year in real estate here on the Central Coast, we're talking about why this place is different when you compare it to all of the, let's call it, bad real estate news that you're reading in your Yahoo Finance articles, on the web, on TV, and in your, social discussions you have about real estate. So many times this year, we'll be talking about what makes the Central Coast different, but I'm excited to get into some of those facts today. I'm going to flip it over to Josh really quick, but before I do, everyone, remember that these videos come out monthly, and if you're not already communicating with us via email because you're looking at properties or you're trying to get pre-approved, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube video here, and you can click the little bell and you'll get a reminder when each one of these videos come out. I think 2023 is going to be a very important year, especially if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, to stay in touch with us as the things change and we update you on the statistics. Not only that, the area, not only that, what we're actually seeing here as Josh and I go through transactions on the Central Coast. All right, I'm going to flip it over to Josh. Josh is going to go into his real estate statistics that you guys all love. But before he gets into that, I want him to share some great news. Josh, go ahead and take it over for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Happy New Year, Mike.
Happy New Year.
Everybody who's watching 2023. Yeah, so exciting news. I joined Keller Williams. I was with a boutique brokerage for many years, and I decided to join Keller Williams and create my own team there. And I'm really excited about the resources that it offers to both my buyers, sellers, and investors, and overall the value that it'll bring to all of my clients. So excited about that. Just joined Keller Williams Central Coast here, and excited to mention that. So let's go ahead and get started with some numbers here and talk a little bit about what we've seen the last couple months, and some trends that I'm seeing here for 2023, so that you're better informed as a buyer or a seller here on the Central Coast. So first, I'll talk about median sales. So in some metro areas across the country, we are seeing some dips in pricing. They've really increased in value over the last couple of years, but we're seeing now some of that softening. Here on the Central Coast, not so much. So for example, in December, we're at an $800,000 median sales price. Back in November is $825,000, and in October it was $775,000. So we're seeing still a strong median sales here for the Central Coast, which is understandable because it's a coastal region. The relative demand compared to the inventory, you've got a lot of demand and relatively low housing, and not that many new housing developments. We do have San Luis Ranch, of course.
Avila Ranch as well.
Yeah. Right, but it still is not meeting the demand for the Central Coast. So little snapshot there for median sales. Price per square foot, we're about the same as what we saw last couple months at $479 per square foot. Last month was $489, and the month prior was $465. So right around where we would expect it to be. And this is all numbers from December, which is traditionally a slower month for home sales. So that's pretty much to be expected as we ramp up here now that we're in January, and we ramp up to our normal busy time for the sale or purchase of real estate, springtime. Month supply, this is an important one that I always like to bring up because it kind of gives us an indicator of where we are headed. Those previous numbers give us an indication of where we've been. I always like to kind of give us a trend for where we're headed. So my month supply in December was 1.9, which is actually lower than what we've seen in the last couple of months. So, just to remind us of what month supply is, month supply is if no new homes reach the market, right? And all the inventory that we have currently stayed like it is. And the demand, right, the number of homes that go into contract, go pending, was to continue that trend. How long would it last before we run out of homes to purchase? That's 1.9, which is relatively low. Back in November is 2.3, and October 2.4. So month supply has gone down a little bit.
Now, I want to just add to that. Nationally, month supply is 3.3 months. So one other thing that we contrast constantly on this show is, how the Central Coast compares to not only nationally, but the rest of the state of California, because of those things you mentioned, Josh. Just want to add that in.
Yeah, that's a great addition. Another one that I wanted to mention is days on market. And it coincides a little bit there with month supply and gives an indication of relative demand to what is available out there. So days on market, we're at 23 or so for the county, which is starting to reach a more normalized market, days on market for us. For November is 17, October it was 18, and typically we see days on market increase in December. It's pretty normal, so just keep that in mind. Wrapping up here, pending sales in December we're at 103. In 2021 in December, to give you some contrast, we were at 191, and in 2020, 2 years ago, we were at 255. So kind of giving you some idea that we are pretty low on pending sales, which is due to a few different factors, lower inventory, some little bit lower or suppressed demand. But like I said, December is one of the slowest months here for us, so it's to be expected. Coming soon, we've got 7 new homes coming soon as of today, and we've got 440 active listings compared to last year of 354. So kind of give you some idea. What I've been talking about for the last couple months and on these marketing videos, Mike, is we're seeing an increased inventory, more options, which is actually a better, it's a more normalized, more healthy market for buyers, and especially for those of you who are selling selling a home, selling property, and replacing it. Maybe you're going from a 2-story to a 1-story. Maybe you're going from a condo to a single family home. Maybe you're going from a townhome to something with a little bit of land. What happened in the last couple of years is you really got stuck when you could easily get a contract, you easily get an offer for your sale property, but you had a real tough time with a replacement property just because there's such demand. So with this increased inventory, more normalized market, I'll wrap it up here with a couple things that I think are important for buyers and sellers to keep in mind. First thing for sellers, we're in a more normalized market. So to give you some contrast, if you put a home on the market last year back in, let's say, March or April, you took one photo of the outside on your cell phone and you popped it up there on the internet, you're going to see a lot of people interested, right? As long as you priced it fairly. A lot of people interested. You'd see it over bids. You'd see multiple bids. We're still seeing multiple bids here on the market, but what my suggestion is to sellers, especially if you're thinking about selling this spring, is to take the time to prepare your home for sale. So what does that mean? Declutter. That's always a good one. Spruce up your front yard. Those first impressions make a difference. If you can do some simple things like fresh paint or fresh carpet, that can go a long way. But really make sure that you're doing the preparations that your realtor or broker suggest. If you're working with us, then we can have a whole checklist for you, kind of give you a personalized plan to prepare your home for the market, so you get the best response and best reaction from the market. So don't neglect those items in preparing your home for sale. And then for buyers, I think it's important to really understand that there's going to be some more flexing when it comes to credits that you can request. So keep that in mind. We do have higher interest rates. We've seen a little bit of a decrease, But keep in mind that there's some flexibility there for you. So making offers, we're negotiating credits for our buyers. We're negotiating lower prices. So don't be so concerned about, if you see a home that's been on the market, let's get in there, make some offers, get some credit back, help lower your closing costs and your interest rate. So that's what I got for you today, Mike. I want to toss it back to you. What's going on with mortgages, interest rates, and whatnot?
Thank you, Josh. And congratulations once again on your Keller Williams move. I think that's a great resource for all your buyers and sellers, just to have that agent's resource near you, to kind of start those quiet conversations and generate some inventory. Now, we're recording this on the 6th of January. Already, the stock market, the securities, and everything is starting to rally a little bit to start the year. We're seeing the last quarter and really December was not great. So it's not shocking that we're seeing a little uptick, especially when we have so many institutional buyers or brokers buying those funds. But we're seeing the Dow Jones up almost 2% today, NASDAQ up 1.5%, S&P up 1.5%. Lets me know that just tells me that there's a confidence level in us really trying to achieve this soft landing that the Federal Reserve has been talking about for eons. And, with Jerome Powell coming out in December and saying, I'm not going to lay off the gas pedal on raising rates. Again, this means this is the Fed funds rate, which affects the prime interest rate, which affects overnight lending and things like home equity lines of credit, maybe some commercial lines of credit, car loan interest rates, and other consumer loans, but not NOT, underlined, mortgage rates. So when they ratchet up the interest rates half a basis point, doesn't mean we have to adjust a 6% interest rate to 6.5 to make the same type of money. That's not how it works. In fact, as these rates are going to hike probably 3 more times in 2023, I'm willing to bet that you're going to see the mortgage rates go down, because Jerome Powell has said it is our responsibility as the Federal Reserve to make sure that consumers do not get comfortable with these higher prices on durable goods and consumer goods. So as they raise those rates, you're going to see less demand and less demand. Now, here's what this does for the unemployment rate and unemployment as a whole. We've already seen it in the news. Software companies galore are laying off people. Mortgage companies, banks galore laying off people. As the unemployment rate goes above 4%, that's going to start making the Federal Reserve more and more happy. Now, it's going to lead to more unemployment. It's going to lead to more people without jobs. It doesn't mean automatically that it's going to lead to foreclosures. But what it does do is it gives us, those who are buying this year, whether you're selling and buying or buying for the first time, or renting and getting ready to buy, you're going to see some price fluctuation on real estate, and you're going to see it in your favor. Now, if you're selling and buying, it doesn't really matter because you're in the market. You're selling your house higher than it was, almost 35% higher than it was in 2020. So if you've owned for a few years, which, I'm a big fan of, you're happy regardless. But if you're buying for the first time, we're walking into a market where rates will be cushioning back down, and sellers are going to be influenced not only by lack of inventory, not only by a tougher economy, but by the fact that they want to get their house sold, period. So this time of year, January, February, March, really for Josh and I, it's like our off season. We're not specifically busy like we would be in April, May, June. But I'll tell you what we do right now. We spend a lot of time planning with you about getting your assets in order, your down payment, what that's going to be, how your income's going to look this year. Whether you found out maybe you're getting furloughed, maybe you don't work on Fridays anymore. Maybe you have to switch to part-time. Maybe you're going from part-time to full-time because you've shown your employer that you've got merit. But putting all of those ducks in a row right now gets you ready to snap up and take advantage of a situation where a seller just has to sell. And like Josh mentioned, he's with Keller Williams now, which means he has a huge resource and is finding out about properties before they're coming to the market. So that's my message for this monthly update. I really think it's a really smart time to prepare yourself for opportunities that could come in May, June, July right now. My pre-approvals are good for 6 months. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be talking. And we do business in the entire state of California. Josh and I just tend to focus right here on the Central Coast because it is a great place to own. Two last things I want to say about my enthusiasm for this year and what we're going to do on these monthly marketing updates. We're really going to show you, compare and contrast how this Central Coast real estate market is much different than what you're reading about in the paper. Okay. You open the Yahoo Finance on Tuesday of this week, and they said prices are going to fall 10 to 15% unequivocally. Just sit and wait. Well, that's not exactly true here. Now, do I think prices are going to fall? I do, because in March of 2020 through October of last year, 2022, prices went up 38.1% nationally and about 25 to 28%, almost 30% here on the Central Coast. That's just gonna give. And mainly that's giving because the sellers are like, we're already fat and happy. I just want to sell this house so I don't get stuck not getting on the gravy train. But you as the buyer can take advantage of that situation. So that's the first thing we're going to compare and contrast. The last thing I'm excited about is, honestly, we had a bull run in the real estate market from 2012 to 2022 where prices went up every month. And for buyers that had to wait, that signed a 12-month lease or just weren't in a position in their life to jump on that risk and own a house instead of rent one, I think we're going to see a much more normalized market over the next 3 years where you're not going to see crazy price drops and crazy price increases. So even if we still need to plan and you're 12 to 24 months out, I feel better about planning this year, and I'm excited about it because when we get back to you next year and it's time to buy, the prices aren't going to be skyrocketing one way or the other. So normalcy actually is refreshing, especially from the roller coaster ride we just got off of. So that's my piece for this monthly marketing update. Josh, any last things you want to add before we clock off for this one?
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. That's really insightful. I would say one thing, if you are interested to get that ball started and to start discussing with us, you can go to the link there, Advice Before Price, and kind of share a little bit of details about what you're looking to do. And like I said, I think now is the time to get started with that. I really think the process is key, and I don't like it when people get pressured time-wise. So if you're looking to sell and buy, like I said, sell a condo, buy a single family home, now's the time to get started. So go ahead and click that link, Advice Before Price, and we'd be happy to help you out or just talk about what your goals are and be a good sounding board for you. So yeah, thank you, Mike, for sharing those details. And that's great.
All right, guys, stay dry and stay tuned. We'll be back next month with our February marketing update. Bye-bye.